present to the day that we die, it's a faith plus works system. We have to believe on Christ and keep the commandments. They have not changed. We can't atone for our past. But from our present to the day we go home to be with the Lord, it's faith plus works. That's basically what salvation is.
Once again, after this clip, as you saw, I mentioned that salvation is a faith plus works system because that's what it logically is. Read James chapter 2. Then the video mentions at 18 minutes and 9 seconds, Isaiah chapter 40, 41, and Psalms 89 again. Like, it's supposed to bring forth the message that in all these chapters and many other chapters in the Old Testament prove that once saved, always saved is true and that God will never break his covenant with anybody. Not in any of these passages does God ever teach that he will never leave people no matter how they live or what they do. Wow, some just God you worship. Huh, Matt Powell. But then they go to 1 Samuel 28:19. It says, Moreover, the Lord will also deliver Israel with thee into the hand of the Philistines, and tomorrow shalt thou and thy sons be with me. The Lord also shall deliver the host of Israel into the hand of the Philistines. A lot of controversy of whether or not King Saul was saved and accepted by God, but let's go through the previous verses, something Matt Powell and Steven Anderson have a hard time doing, to find the exact context. Verse 15, And Samuel said to Saul, Why hast thou disquieted me to bring me up? And Saul answered, I am sore distressed, for the Philistines make war against me, and God is departed from me. Interesting. And answereth me no more, neither by prophets nor by dreams. Therefore I have called thee, that thou mayest make known unto me what I shall do. How can God accept somebody into his kingdom and be departed from them on earth? What? Doesn't make sense. Verse 16. Then said Samuel, Wherefore then dost thou ask of me, seeing the Lord is departed from thee and is become thine enemy? It's amazing when we read the surrounding verses. Immediately refutes Matt Powell, Steve Anderson, and whatever other clowns were involved with this video in taking verses out of context. Again, how can God... Amazing. How can God declare somebody saved and be accepted with him if God is their enemy? Ever read James 4, 4-8? That alone contradicts this phony baloney fairy tale belief that Saul was saved. Baloney. Verse 17. And the Lord hath done to him as he spake by me. For the Lord hath rent the kingdom out of thine hand, and given it to thy neighbor, even to David. So you mean, you mean to tell me that even though God took the kingdom from him and gave it to another, David, God will still accept him into his kingdom? So God is telling Saul, I took your kingdom from you. But I'm going to allow you to be in mine. What? Stupid. Verse 18. Because thou obeyedst not the voice of the Lord, nor executest his fierce wrath upon Amalek, therefore hath the Lord done this thing unto thee this day. So he did not obey God, nor executed righteous judgment. And God's going to still allow him in his kingdom? And keep him saved? What kind of a stupid God do you worship, Matt Powell and Steven Anderson, and all of you other people? Bathlicks? Now we can deal with the main verse, verse 19, as shown here. The phrase, thou and thy sons be with me. That does not mean that Saul was going to heaven or be in Abraham's bosom. In Luke 16, 19-31, the story of rich man Lazarus, the Old Testament saints and the damned were in the same general area. The Old Testament saints were in Abraham's bosom, and the damned were in a place of torment. Saul would be in the same general area as Samuel, but not the same specific place. That makes sense. Otherwise, God is not being consistent with plenty of other passages. Oh, you want a list? Okay, well, how's this? Very easy to refute Baptists. It's just so easy. Anybody with any logical sense, people, if you're watching this right now, then you know that if Matt Powell is in his right mind, and if God removed the blinders from his eyes to see the phony baloney that he's teaching, he would be so embarrassed right now. But obviously he has his blinders on, his Baptist blinders on, and he doesn't want to take them off because he's too afraid to see Scripture for what it really says. I know he has a lot of zeal, but his zeal is doing a lot more damage than good. And also, if God is keeping Saul saved, and if he took him to his kingdom, then God is not showing righteous judgment, because this means that somebody can live however they want and still be accepted into his kingdom. Sure, they may lose earthly blessings, but still be accepted into his kingdom. Who cares if they lost everything on earth, but still went to heaven? It doesn't make sense. Come on. Oh boy. Alright, another video concluded. Easily refutes Matt Powell and all others who follow in his circus Baptist doctrine. Stay tuned for the next video for the next clip of my statement. Thanks.